Hey guys, it's Ox here and welcome back to my channel. We are back with a new Akko Keyboard review, and this is a follow-up to the last board that we have reviewed from them, which was a wooden keyboard. Now they are back and made a full resin keyboard. Today, let's all take a look and listen at the new YU01 by Akko. But first, a quick message for today's video sponsor, PCBWay. PCBWay is your one-stop shop for all your PCB prototyping needs in case that you have any tech projects in mind, and they offer a lot of services and different kinds of PCB prototyping. Not only that, they also offer CNC machining, which I have here that I have a prototype that made through PCBWay. All you have to do is just upload your files, you can wait for the codes, and you're good to go. If you are interested, check out PCBWay.com, links in the description. Also, a quick disclaimer that the board was sent over by Akko for a review, but I wasn't paid to make the video, and of course I give you guys my honest and unbiased opinion about the YU01. I'll place all of their links on the description down below. Let's go ahead and unbox the YU01. We have the typical Akko artwork box, and inside we are greeted with the manuals, which I highly suggest to read and go through, especially if this is your first keyboard. Next up, we have the USB dongle, as the keyboard has a tri-mode PCB. We have some extra switches, a switch puller, a keycap puller, and lastly, a USB cable, so we get the basics that you all know. Let's now break down what is the board all about. So the Akko YU01 is a pre-built 65% that is made out of full resin, which makes it a first for Akko. But as for the design of the keyboard, this is the same as the MU01, which was made out of wood, and Gen01, which was made out of aluminum. So we're kind of seeing a pattern here that Akko is playing around with material cases, and I'm actually all for it. Having different case material options is good to see nowadays. Now for the PCB, it's using a tri-mode with a 3750 mAh battery, and it's also VIA compatible, which is very nice to see as Akko is now being open to this and not just staying on their own software. Now for the pre-built options, we have two color option, antique jade, which we have today, and white jade. And for the inspiration, as per Akko, these are from jade stones, as the keyboard offers a jade-like look to it. And honestly, Akko did a good job for the overall theme of the board, and we gotta give props to Akko for still trying to be unique in terms of keyboard releases. Now for the pre-built keycaps, it's using the ASA keycap profile, which I am not a fan of, but these are made out of polycarbonate. And lastly, the pre-built switches. It comes in with the usual V3 Piano Pro, so this is just recolored to white for the better RGB output. Now for the pricing, it starts at $129.99. So now let's take a closer look at the board itself. Same as their wood keyboard, this is my first time holding or using a resin keyboard. I know back in the early days in our hobby, there's some resin boards out there, but I never had a chance to try one. Now holding it, I was expecting it to be light, but I was surprised on how heavy it is. Like, it's close to an aluminum heavy board. Now for the finishing, we can see how it does resemble that jade stone look to it. It has that very smooth finish to it as well, and also when you turn on the RGB, it just blinds you like this. Now design wise, it's very simple, just one big block of resin on your desk, has a very rounded corners to it with a very big chunky bezels as well. Now looking at the back, we have a simple Akko sticker which you can remove by the way. Now one thing I don't like about their 01 series is that the USB port is on the far left corner, which is not very pleasing to my eyes, but other than that, that's all about it for the keyboard. Now taking the board apart, it was also simple, but you can see it has an outdated structure. So it's only supporting a tray mount design structure. Now I have tried a lot of tray mounts in the early days in the hobby, and it literally has no bounce to it. It's just stiff as it can get, but it sounds decent, I give it that. Basically, a tray mount is the PCB and plate is just screwed on together to the case. And let me tell you that this was the standard mounting post before we got the gasket and the other new mounting styles. Now, stock-wise with the pre-built switches, the Piano V3 Pro, it never disappoints. For the stock keycaps, I am not a fan of the profile. Again, ASA, it's a bit tall and rounded for me. Now, the fonts on these are a bit too thin as well. Like, I would rather have a blank set of keycaps for this board. And also the stock stabs, it needs tuning. Like, I don't suggest to use them out of the box, so just apply some lube to them. So yeah, now that you have everything you need to know about the U01, let's get to the sound test. For the sound test, we will be using different and the latest Akko switches for both linears and tactiles. Now, we will not be doing a no case foam because trust me, you need foams for this kind of board. Now, please do remember that the sound and experience, it will always vary depending how you build the U01. So please do enjoy the sound test on the new U01 by Akko. And that was the sound test for the U01. Please do let me know what you think about them on the comment section down below. And let's have some quick discussions. Also, if you are still watching, thank you for staying. Let's now talk about my overall thoughts on the board or on the U01. Honestly, for $129, the board is still decent for what it offers. It has a nice overall theme to it, and Akko stock with it. It has a tri-mode PCB, pre-built switches that are very good, and the board has a nice heft to it. Now for the keycaps, I feel like the legends will fade with overtime use, so keep that in mind. For the sound profile, at stock, it sounds fairly decent in my opinion. The Piano V3 were decent enough to bring life to a foamy board and onto a tray mount board, and it has a very clacky tone to it. Now if you want more on the subtle sound profile, I highly suggest to get the Rosewood switches to have more of a deep tone on the U01. Now feel wise, as mentioned, it is a tray mounted board, so please expect a stiff typing experience, but I would say it wasn't that aggressive in terms of the stiffness as it is using a PC plate. My only gripe in terms of the feel were the stock stabs. It was really bad in my opinion. Now I don't know if this was only on my unit, but I highly suggest to lube them once you get your board. Now, with that being said, I still like what Akko is doing right now. But these series, as they are releasing different materials for the board with different theme actually to add its own character, and I honestly want to see more from them. Maybe like a 60% with this kind of theme. TKL 75% is already saturated, so Akko, please stop with the 75%. Now as the series brings more options in terms of individual preferences as well for the keyboard, but I don't know, let me know what you think down below. And that's it for the video guys. I hope you liked the review and I hope you find it helpful. If you do, please don't forget to like the video. You can share if you want, and of course subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys on the next review. Peace.